let's look at this PZK quickly. So we have three requirements to look at. The first one is to calculate loss or gain compared to its current dollar value. So current dollar value, definitely we have to be at the spot rate, because that's the current value, which PZK will incur by taking out a forward exchange contract, yeah, on the future euro receipt. So which means we're going to compare the forward with the spot rate and explain why taking out forward exchange contract may be preferred by PZK. So we need to explain why it may be preferred, yeah, rather than not hedging. So we need to look into that. The second one said if the interest rate in the home country of PZK is 4%, calculate the annual interest rate in the foreign currency, foreign customer's country, implied by the spot exchange rate and the 12-month forward exchange rate. So this is interest rate parity theory that they are testing here. We need to look into that. Discuss whether PZK should avoid exchange rate risk by invoicing foreign customers in dollars. So PZK's home country currency is dollar, so that means invoicing in local currency. That's what they're asking here. So should we do invoicing in local currency? And this is talking about one of those internal method of hedging, invoicing in local currency. So they're asking us, should this company use that approach? So those are the three requirements that we want to deal with quickly. But the first one is to see whether using forward will make life better or worse when we compare to the spot amounts. So that's what we want to do, the forward rate value and spot rate value. So let's first forget the spot value. Yeah, so if we know that currently this guy has a situation at hand, and the situation is receipt of euro. So receipt, so inflow of 1.2 million euro. That's going to happen in 6 months' time. However, we want the spot value of this. So assuming that we have this money now, what is the value? It means that we need to interpret that bank definitely will do what to the second currency. That is our basis of interpretation. So let's get our quote quickly. So the quote for spot is given to be this and this, right? And in that case, second currency is dollar here. Yeah, because they have given us the quote as 4.178 to 4.208 euro per dollar. So which means we need to know what the bank is going to do to the dollars. The company is going to have euro, which means the company will have to sell the euro and bank will have to sell the dollar to the company. So which means the company is selling euro to the bank is buying the euro, but in return, bank is selling back dollar to the company while the company is buying the dollar from the bank. But like I always say, we need to interpret strictly by asking this question: what is the bank doing to the second currency? We know that in this quote system, our second currency is dollar and bank is selling the dollars. In that case, the rate that we have to use is 4.2080. So this 4.2080 euro is equivalent to $1. And we're talking about a receipt of 1.2 million euro. So which means that will be equivalent to 1.2 million times 1 divided by 4.2080. So which means the current value of receipt is, as we speak today, is 1.2 divided by that figure, and that will be 4.2, and that gives 285 $171.1. So today, that is the value of that money. But we need to know what is the value for future because that's what we're asked to compare. So for forward, which is in 6 months, it's the same receipt. So what we need to do is to use this code system, and this is the rate that will be relevant as well. So which means 4.2606 euro is equivalent to $1. And we are expecting 1.2 million euro receipt. And that will be equals to 1.2 million divided by 4.2606. And that will give us, let's check that out as well. 1.2 million divided by 4.2606. And this is giving us a different figure, and that is 281,650.47. So which means with forward, we're going to receive this in 6 months' time. But with spot, it's showing that we'll receive this amount. So in terms of gain or loss, if we decide to go for forward, it means that we are receiving less than what the current situation is telling us. Yeah, because as we speak, if the money has come in today, or if the real rate, actual rate is the spot, then it means that we'll be receiving less than if we had used the spot. So which means this is giving a loss that is equals to 281,650.47 minus 285, and that talking about this 171.1. If we calculate that quickly, we have a total loss of 3,520. Okay, so that's the A part of the question. Let's look at the B part. So the B part says that if the interest rate in the home country, which means US, yeah, is 4, so we have quote that is dollar slash dollar, euro slash dollar. Yeah, and they are giving us the second currency. So the second rate is 4%. That's what they are telling us. This one. And they're asking us to calculate the interest rate in the foreign customer current country, which is rate 1. We don't know it. Yeah. But we need the currency rate. Let's look at it. So they told us that the calculate the annual interest rate in foreign customers' currency applied by the spot and the 12-month exchange rate. So which means they want us to use the 12-month forward exchange rate, which is this quote, versus the spot, which is this quote. That's what they want us to use for whatever we want to do. Okay, so looking at that, because in this situation, remember, is a receipt situation, and we've been using the selling code, so we're going to use the selling codes definitely to do our prediction. So we know that 1 year forward rate is equals to spot rate multiplied by 1 plus interest in first currency plus 1 plus interest rate in second currency. This is what we need to calculate, is this place, right? So we need to know that 1 plus R1 over 1 plus, we know R2 to be 4%, is equals to 1 year forward rate, which is 12 months, 4.3, this one, 4.3132 divided by the spot rate, the same sell rate, 4.2080. Please don't mix it up. Be careful so you don't make that mistake. Stick once the situation you have is telling you that sell rate is the relevant quote, then you use the sell rate for both spot and the forward. Okay, so which means 1 plus R that we are looking for, 1 plus R1 is equals to this multiplied by the whole of this, and that is 1.04 multiplied by 4.3132 divided by 4.2080. That's 1.025. Yeah, and that gives 1 plus R1 that is equals to 1.066. Then R1 is equals to 0.066, and that is the same as 6.6%. That is the interest rate that you expect in the foreign country, which is the currency one. The last part of the question, which is the C part, is asking us to discuss whether PZK should avoid exchange rate risk by using the internal method of invoicing in local currency. So it's a tricky question. Yeah. When they ask you this type of question, what they are asking you is to discuss. And anytime you are asked to discuss in ACCA exam, see, 4 marks is not a joke. It's not just to say they should do it. What they're asking you to do is to discuss the benefit and disadvantages. So discuss, you need to discuss both the good and bad.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what they want us to do. Both the good and bad. So which means we need to talk about how is this method good and how is this method bad. Yeah. So whatever you discuss must be in 2 dimensions: the benefit and the issues with the benefit. The benefit is like advantages, and issues with is like disadvantages. Sure. So if you look at this, it wants us to discuss, like I said, we must look at both the advantages of using the local currency invoicing method and the issues around it. And if you remember, issuing in local currency, if you issue your invoice in local currency, it means you are using the internal method. And when using the internal method, you are not paying for it. Yeah, so the first thing that we know that, yes, we agree, this will eliminate FX risk for the company. That's number one. Number two, it is cheaper than extra method that involves the use of bank, because this one you are using your own staff. So those are the two major benefits for issuing invoicing in the local currency. You eliminate the FX risk, and at the same time, you are doing it at no cost. It's just the salary you're paying to your staff who also will be doing other things. Yeah, that are incurring. So that's just the cost for it. But there are issues with it. And the major issue is the fact that customers will now be the one exposed to the FX rate fluctuation. And because of the fact that customers are exposed to FX rate fluctuations, most customers will want to avoid that by looking for other companies that will not ask them to pay in a foreign currency. Because immediately you push dollar to the customers, then that dollar becomes a foreign currency to those customers, which means they have to change their local currency to dollar before they can pay TZCO. And most customers will not want to do that. Instead of doing that, they might prefer to look for alternative, either a company within their country or even a foreign country that will not make that requirement. So the issue is that the company has the risk or potential of losing customers. Yeah. I remember, if you lose customers, revenue that you lose, so revenue loss will usually be more than the FX gain that you're trying to save. So you better want to lose the FX and keep your revenue rather than trying to make FX gain or avoid FX loss and you're losing revenue. And that is it with these questions. With all of that, you have your 10 marks, 100%.